We are Casey and Savannah, two best friends turning this shed into our tiny home. We've spent time building infrastructure and a homestead on our raw land, but now we are taking it inside to the kitchen. We've been living in the shed without any insulation or modern amenities, and it's time that we change that. Welcome to our DIY kitchen renovation on a budget series.
So we've been talking about where we're going to put everything in our kitchen, and that is a challenging decision. Savannah had a crazy idea to not put the sink centered below the windows and considered putting it somewhere else, and I talked her right out of that, don't worry. She said she saw somebody who did a sink off to the side and she liked it. And she was like, I don't know why we make sinks sort of the centerpiece. And I was like, well, because we're gonna have a pretty sink with a pretty faucet, so worry not, my friend. I think we're gonna do a fridge over here. There'll be counter, obviously a sink, and then, you know, a counter, and then the stove, oven will go here. And then obviously there's going to be cabinets and shelving and all that kind of stuff. We've been trying to figure that out as well, because obviously it's not a lot of space. We're particularly concerned about where to put all of our canned foods that we have. It's going to take some creativity.
The other thing we were trying to figure out what to do that we were concerned with is where to put the broom, because in our kitchen, the way that we have figured out to lay everything out, there's not going to be any kind of like tall storage. We're not gonna have a pantry, and so we are gonna try to figure out how to do just a tiny shelf for a broom and mop, probably near the fridge, since that's already. They definitely may change because we have to have our table somewhere, and if it looks weird, we are gonna really not appreciate that, so we'll see what happens. Now we have to figure out where we are going to put all of the outlets in here. We have these 1 gang boxes for all of our electrical outlets, so we're gonna figure out where we want to put those. Gotta have a conversation about it, gotta have a conversation about everything. And then Casey's gonna go around and install these, and I feel like there's gonna be a lot of outlets in there. This morning we actually finished putting the wires in the kitchen, so it's all wired for electricity. It's not hooked up obviously, but the walls are all wired. Since we have this shed space, I'm actually cutting the insulation in here. Casey is inside and she's putting up the insulation as I cut it. Obviously it takes a little longer to put it up than it does for me to cut one, so I'll end up going in there and helping staple. But I have a list of the kitchen pieces that we need, the lengths and the widths, and I'm gonna cut everything in here so we don't have fiberglass just floating in the air. This, but we put two pieces of drywall up, and Casey hated it, but it ended up being okay. So especially because we're not going to be taping and mudding, we're going to be putting something over that. may be wondering why we have about 3 different colors of drywall here. That's 2 reasons. One, this blue and the purple came from 2 different places. They are both mold and mildew resistant, and we wanted to have that in our kitchen. And the piece that Casey is putting up right now is actually the back side of one of the purple pieces. It's supposed to be purple side in, but basically we were going to be able to use that last piece a lot more efficiently if we flipped it around. And because we're putting beadboard wainscoting over top of this, it really doesn't matter. It's all going to be covered up. We're not even painting, so it's not even like it's going to be weird colors for painting. It's all going to be covered up by beadboard. See if this last piece is going to fit right.
Like a puzzle.
Oh my god, is it?
It's just like a little.
Round 2. Oh. Seems to have made it in. Another screw on the floor. Alright. Alright, everything is drywalled. And there's only one thing left to do. Alright, Casey kind of moved everything out to the side so we can actually not have the maze that we had before.
Feel pretty good. This like feels very significant to have all the drywall up. It's just awkward.
So the beadboard has to be more perfect than the drywall was, because the drywall is behind, you can't see it. So the beadboard has got to be cut to a T. So I have a drawing. It looks crazy. And it is all the measurements so that I can cut each piece exactly as it needs to be. There is going to be trim, so there's a little room for error, but not a lot of room for error. Alright, I'm not sure how much you can tell, but we have the lines drawn. So this is half a window, that is a whole window, and then we have the point. So this is the middle point up here. And it's a strange piece, but if I measured right, it should fit pretty good. I'm actually about to go double check a measurement because the second window, when I cut that, there's no going back. So I'm gonna go double check that.
Switch Drywall products.
Okay, just hold it, push it up and hold it because I need to grab the tool. If you wanted, do such a thing. Like you It's upside down. I was like,
something is amiss. Hello?
so we have moved the fridge over here and the stove inside, and we don't love it. They are massive.
Well, it's not that we don't love it.
Is that I don't love it.
It's just that it's really hard. When you're trying to buy appliances used on like Marketplace, you only have so many options. So you just like buy what you can find, and then you get it in here and you're like, oh, that it takes up more space. And we're talking about a tiny kitchen and full-size appliances. And
yes, and the thing is we put the fridge in first where we wanted it to go, and we were like, bad. It's too big. We considered getting a smaller one, which isn't necessarily off the table, but we would like to use these appliances because they were really cheap.
We got the stove for $125, and then the fridge was $150, and the dishwasher was $100.
I mean, they work and they're fine, but they didn't cost a lot of money, and we have them. So now we're basically rethinking the entire layout. We have a lot of decisions to make. So we're just gonna go to lunch instead. We'll probably talk about it over lunch. Okay, so we're thinking about doing an island now. So we have it taped out, and this is 3 feet by 2 feet. We want to be able to move it around so that, you know, we could put it to the side if we wanted more room in here. Not sure if this is gonna solve our problem of, I think it'll add 3 feet of counter space, so that will be nice. But it doesn't solve our dishwasher problems. There's just really not room
18 inches.
over here.
18 inches is the size of one of those small size dishwashers.
And we have a full-size dishwasher. So the sink is gonna go to about here. So there's just not enough room to be able to open a dishwasher right here and have access to this back here.
We built an island out of scrap wood and the wood we had milled from trees on our property. We have an idea for a new layout, but wanted to see what the new island was like. What do you think? Island or no island? Dishwasher or no dishwasher? Come back next week for part 2 of our kitchen series, where we reveal our new layout plans and move forward with the progress. Thank you so much for watching.